presents Crafts with Mo, and here's your host, Moriah Yancy.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Crafts with Mo. I'm your host, Moriah, and today we're going to be building a fairy garden. So some of the supplies you're going to need are some pea gravel, you're going to need some flower seeds, you're going to need some fake forest moss, and you're obviously going to need some potting soil and a flower pot as well. And obviously anything you find around your house that would work is totally cool. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take some dirt and pour it into our flower pot. And it really doesn't matter how much dirt you put in there. You kind of just need enough to be able to fill up to this rim right here, so it's not totally overflowing, but it's high enough that all of your supplies are going to be able to be visible from where they're sitting. And you're just going to want to smooth that out a little bit. Make sure everything's level, because you don't want it to be too bumpy, otherwise, you know, your fairy won't be able to walk peacefully across her garden, or their garden, you know, whatever. And then it looks like we might need a little bit more dirt, so I'm going to put a little bit more dirt on there. Just as I said, you know, smooth that out, make sure it looks nice and even. Alright, then once you're done with that, you want to take your birdhouse, and as you can see, I put some of that like fake forest moss over the top of my birdhouse because I thought it was really cute. I also painted it. Obviously, you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want with your birdhouse because whatever you want goes, but that's what I did. You're just going to want to put it at the back part of the pot because that's where the front of your garden is going to be. And once you have that situated and just kind of pressed down in there nicely, you're going to move on to the next part, which is the forest moss. So I just have a big chunk of it right here, and I'm kind of going to just put that right there for now. And what you're going to want to start doing is flattening it out against the dirt up to the house, up to this base part of the house. And that's going to be like your front lawn, sort of. And just make sure that it all kind of goes together and is packed nicely. And the nice thing about that moss is that it does sort of stick together, so it'll all sort of stay in one place once you have it where you want it. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. So the next thing you're going to want to do is take your pea gravel. There's just a bunch of little rocks, and pour it out. We'll start with that, see where we get. That's a little too big. And you're going to start creating like a little pathway from the head of your house to the back portion. And it's okay if it looks a little dirty, it's a garden. It can be that way sometimes. Just make sure it looks nice and straight, and if you need to pack the dirt against it so it looks more uniform, you can totally do that. Just make sure it's all flat and together. Make sure it looks nice and neat so the landscape is all good. And I think we could use a little bit more rocks. Obviously you can do whatever you want, but I want a little bit more rocks in mine so it looks nicer. Alright, so that's like the first portion of our fairy garden. We're going to go to a break, and when we get back, we will finish the second half. So, stay tuned.
Do you ever struggle with communication due to language barriers? This is Patricia. She speaks Spanish. This is Margot. She has to use the bathroom. Clearly, they're struggling, but with Hannah's Here Goods, they won't have to anymore. Hannah's Here Goods allows you to translate conversation in real time. Just plug them into your phone.
Thanks, Hannah's Here Goods! finished up our little path here for our fairy garden. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take these little fake flowers that I have, and I'm gonna start setting them up right along here against the path, because this is actually gonna be our actual garden portion of the pot. I think these are really cute. It just looks like, you know, real sized for this actual scale right here, so that's why I chose these. They're just little fake lavender plants, but I think they go nicely, and I just cut them up, and obviously you can see that I'm sticking them here so it looks like a little garden. You can put however many you want there. Just make sure not to overcrowd it, because they might like start bending together and it'll get too clustered, so you definitely don't want that, but enough to make it look nice and neat and obviously really cute. Okay, so now that we're done with those, we're going to take some more of that moss and we're going to start lining it up against this portion of the garden to sort of separate the flowers from the dirt. And so you're just going to take the moss and start rolling it like this. And placing it against this part of the garden so it sort of separates the dirt from the flowers and makes it look more nice and neat. You can put however much you want there. I'm just going to put a little bit more so it looks just a tiny bit better. And as you did with the pea gravel, you can also press the dirt up against that moss so that it looks a little bit neater. Alright, so that part is done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that gravel once again and find some slightly bigger rocks and start lining them up right here between the moss and the rest of the dirt, again to just make it look nicer and more landscaped. And obviously, once again, very cute. And you can put however much you want, like everything else. This is just how I'm doing it. That's the best part of this craft, is it obviously is totally up to your own imagination, just as this is the way that I do mine. Alright, so that's all lined up and nice and neat. And the next thing we're going to do is I have these little flower seeds right here. Gonna just rip that open. And you obviously don't have to plant anything, but I mean, it's a garden, so you might as well just try and tend to it. So you can just put those there, make sure that they're inside the dirt. Cover them up, pack it down nice and neat, and then obviously you need to water them, but I'm not going to show you how to do that because I feel like that speaks for itself. Alright, and then, so you don't have to do this, but I have this little garden gnome that I thought was really cute, so I'm going to put that in my garden and just stick him right there so he's chilling. And then we're going to take this little welcome sign that I also made with a little miniature canvas and easel, stick that right there so people know that they're welcome. And then the last little bit, once again, you don't have to do this, but I think it's really cute. I just took this ribbon, I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to tie it in a little bow back here. Oh, see, it fell. That's okay. We'll try that again. Maybe we'll just leave it right there. Yeah, or maybe not. It's cool. See, like I said, you don't have to do that. All right, this has been Crafts with Mo. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one.